This is Battletech. I'm your host, Human Technical Readout, or HTRO, because I'm slack like that. I'm Australian. So, what we're going to talk about today, Scott Collins asks, was Malvina Hazen a genetic aberration that produced a psychopath, or just a child abused by the clan method of raising children? The short answer is no, but yes and yes. Warning, this has spoilers for the Jade Falcon sourcebook, The Way of the Clans novel by Thurston, Bred for War, novel by Stackpole, Flight of the Falcons, novel by Milan, Rending of Falcons, novel by Milan, Error Report 3145, Field Manual 3145, and Hour of the Wolf novel by Pardo. The longer answers, we have to actually look back to the founding of the clans in the 29th century and Nicholas Kerensky and Elizabeth Hazen. Nicholas Kerensky for his adoption of the trappings of the Mongol horde motif. Where he got his furry fetish, I don't know. Well, he'll get his own entry into the winner of the Seriously Fucked in the Head of the Week at some point down the line. I will focus on the Hazen bloodline, Elizabeth Hazen, for the genetic material of which the Malvina was descended from. At the age of 24, Elizabeth Hazen was a captain in the Star League Defence Forces Black Watch Regiment, bodyguards to the Cameron bloodline, and some of the hardest mofos in the history of hard mofos. If you want to know how hard, a company of Black Watch chewed through a battalion of Amaris troops in the early stages of the Amaris coup, and Amaris nuked the survivors because they were just too hard. I played that scenario on the Amaris side. Yeah, we lost that battalion. No loss to the Black Watch side. Yes, they are that hard. From the Jade Falcon remembrance, depending on how you interpret it, Elizabeth Hazen wasn't with her regiment that day of the Amaris coup. She had taken personal leave to see her brother, also in the Black Watch regiment, but an aero jock who had crashed his plane and was in the hospital, probably doing something hard and mofo-like. She escaped the ensuing hospital massacre and suffered through the Amaris coup after losing her brother. I think that sounds familiar, but we'll get onto that a bit later on. When she went then to fight a decade-long guerrilla war, which couldn't have been easy on anyone's mental stability. Then, when she joined the Exodus, some people say at the behest of Aaron Chevalier. We'll get back to that one in a second. She led the operation to deal with the Prince Eugene affair. 160 infantry versus an actively hostile ship. That's hard and bug nuts crazy. She volunteered to participate in the firing squads. That's participate, not lead the firing squads. Much like the firing squads of the Amaris troops that she observed on Terra. Nah, not crazy at all, right? She then went on to survive the de Chevalier massacre by katanaing any rebels she came across, after she'd been shot out of a mech and had then watched her commander, unsubstantiated rumour and lover, be toasted by infernal gel. What a way to go. In the middle of that action, she apparently had a psychotic break, or vision, depending on your interpretation, of her dead Jade Falcon harrying her to eat her concrete Wheaties and go kick ass and not bother to take names. After some whinging to herself, she did. When her Jade Falcons were pouting over the fact that the ultimate fairy Nicholas Kerensky joined with the wolves and not them, obviously because wolves have fur and not feathers, she and the Sarkhan Lisa Bullen went all Amaris on her own clan and purged the dissenters into unmarked graves, or politely known as the Cullen in Jade Falcon circles. While we don't have many other examples of the Hazen bloodline, we do have a prime example in the clan invasion, Nekane Hazen, who at the mere mention of clan bin chicken, Jade Falcon officers will demand a circle of equals with you, even by the screwy standards of clan bin chicken. She was a can or two short of a six-pack. She was known to the Innisphere as the Red Corsair Mark II. Of course she wasn't the real one, because that had been Archon Katrina Steiner, who'd been dead for 15 years at that point, at the start of the 31st century. But that's a story for another time. The fact that the fake Red Corsair had access to actual warships, in plural, was a dead giveaway that she wasn't from the Innisphere, or a run-of-the-mill pirate, along with all the clan tech mechs that she had. Anyway, she was, as mentioned, not right in the head, and tortured her bondsmen and raped the Federated Commonwealth Commandant Nielsen Geist in some really fucked up ways. But that helped him in turn help the Kellhounds and Clan Furboys catch her. Can't help notice that Geist killed his torturer in this end. Again, sounds strangely familiar. I'll get back to that at some point. First conclusion. The bloodline Hazen is predisposed to not being quite right in the head, or in layman's terms, bug nuts crazy. Throughout the 300 years of the clan to this point, or 400 technically, so I contend that it is not a genetic aberration rather than a deep-seated facet of the genetic legacy of the Hazen bloodline. Actually, it could be argued that Malvin's sibkin / brother was not right in the head either. However, going the other way, he was too sane and too human. That in itself was crazy, or maybe the Sibko failed to do its job and break him of his humanity, or both. The clan Sibko system is specifically designed to abuse and break the Sibkin of their humanity and turn them into what the clans believe are the perfect warriors, not soldiers, and yes, there is a difference. In the case of Malvina, they activated her genetic legacy of Amaris-like qualities, yes, I went there, of violence and terror above all, much like her gene ancestor Elizabeth. Star Commander Joanna from the clan evasion area is a prime example, pardon the pun, of a falconer harsh and bitter and determined to find their charges' weakness and exploit them and break them, so that the ones that survive are sharp knives. However, both Malvina and her sibkin Alexander had a passion for military history, which got them into the origin of Fairy Boy Nicholas's idea for the clans, which led them to the clan My Little Pony, clans Hell Horses, Mongol Horde doctrine developed in the 3080s, which then she took off the Hell's Horses and then applied Hazen logic to the, violence above all. At first it was tempered by her sibkin's compassion and honour. When he received a hatchet to the cockpit from the redoubtable Tara Campbell, Malvina lost it, wiping out planets by poisoning their water supply, dropping warships on densely populated area. You know, all the shite that war criminals do to make themselves feel badass. And the rest is history, as they say, except for the final demise of Malvina Hazen. Had she not been an abusive pseudo-parent like her Sibko to her bondswoman Cynthia, she would have lived longer than she did, dying to Cynthia's stab wound and subsequent blood loss. Oh look, history repeating itself with another Hazen. Her Mongol doctrine directly contributed to the fact that she was ostracized from clan society, and literally no one, despite people being right there next to her, helped her in her hour of need. Actually, let's point out that both the Fairy Boys in exile and the Wolf's Dragoons joined forces with the original Fairy Boys to stop Malvina at any cost. Her legacy is nothing but ash on the wind, having failed to successfully win the trial for Eel Clan from the clan Fairies, Wolf, and will likely go down as one of the most psychopathic leaders in the history of the Inner Sphere, along with the likes of Stefan Amaris, Ilkan Brett Andrews, as well as the Wobby Master, aka the real Thomas Marek. I like the fake Thomas Marek much better. Her immediate successor in the clan's senior Khan position discredited her and her doctrine by putting Clan Bin Chicken back on the path of the stuffy, hawkish, honourable, tradition-bound warriors, and was immediately, I'll call it, rewarded by Il Khan's Alaric Steiner Davian. Alaric Ward. Yes, Alaric Ward. Nothing to see here. Move along. Final conclusion. There was no genetic aberration in Malvina Hazen's DNA. Yes, it was a genetic disposition to psychopathy. Yes, the Sibko system of the clans, in particular the Jade Falcons, is designed to break the warrior candidates of their humanity, and it has succeeded all too well with Malvina. A shout out to the late and great Victor Milan, fellow dinosaur kaiju big stompy robot lover, and my friend before he died. He created some of the most badass women characters in the Battletech universe. And if you want to ask the Human Technical Readout, him, me, whatever, any questions about Battletech, if I don't know the answer, I certainly know where to look it up, because I've got all the books, because I'm a nerd like that. You can either leave a comment down below, don't forget to like and subscribe, or email me at humantechnicalreadout@gmail.com. This is Human Technical Readout signing off, because any Battletech is good Battletech, so I took what I could get, and you ain't seen nothing yet.